Now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, all about helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace, as we say. We got a great lineup for you today. Also, I tell you, we got the AC guy of Tampa Bay, Greg Bowman, in the house. He's going to talk about some of the contractor pitfalls, things that he sees out there in the community, some consumer advocate tips. We got Rickcox as well, making his debut to the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's the owner and he's a master plumber of Forthright Plumbing, as well as attorney Athanason on the program, law offices of MILLICENT, Athanason. Talking about child support. How do you calculate it? What does it mean? What about custody arrangements? All that cool stuff on the program here today. Before we jump into it, I want to let you know about an event that we've got coming up. Tampa Bay's Best Career Fair on Wednesday, October 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. Right here in Pinellas County. It's in the Largo Event Center, 6340 126th Avenue, and it's on the 20th of October. Save the date. Spread the word. Help us spread the word as a public service announcement here. Tampa Bay's Best Career Fair. We're hiring. Lots of folks are in our network are hiring. They're looking to bring on good employees and folks to join their organizations. And I know people are out there looking for good opportunities as well. So we've got some great partners, 40 to 50 plus show partners associated with the program, and other businesses as well from local chambers of commerce is going to be there as well. Tampa Bay's Best Career Fair, Wednesday, October 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. Largo Event Center, sponsored by Massive Marketing Pros, Consumer Quarterback Show as well. Make sure you check that out and save the date there. And let's give a shout out to Veteran Gutters, Brandon Porter and his team. They do such a great job right here in Tampa Bay. If you're looking to add gutters onto your home, support a veteran. Brandon and his team are such a great company, a great guy, and he is a local business owner right here in Tampa Bay. American-made products, Veteran Gutters. Make sure you let them know their real estate quarterback sent you. All right, back here in studio, helping you win. That's our goal, and we're going to kick off. Let's go ahead and introduce Rickcox. Ricky, thanks for coming in today, my friend. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
And master plumber, Forthright Plumbing. What are you going to talk about today on the program?
Sure. I want to talk to a topic about realtors and plumbers and how they can work together to help each other in their respective businesses.
Yeah, great. A referral relationship, what it should look like. We're going to outline that. Perfect. All right, coming up next. And then Athanason, law offices of MILLICENT, Athanason. Let's jump right into this. So, yeah, child support, divorces, family law, lots of issues and lots of unknowns and misnomers in that space.
There really is. And, keep in mind, child support is something that can come up not only in divorce proceedings, but they can come up in modification proceedings that occur after a divorce is already final. And they can also come up in paternity cases as well, and even in domestic violence injunction cases. So there's several different types of cases wherein the issue of child support can be addressed. A good rule of thumb is if you have children and you're no longer together as a couple, you're going to probably wind up facing a child support action at some juncture. So the thing to know and what people don't understand a lot about is, how do we arrive at the child support number? And the first thing people think, well, is it just based on your income? Well, yes, in part, it is based on your income, but it's also then we have to look at other costs that the children may have, such as daycare and insurance and stuff. And we also have to look in Florida at the number of overnight visits that each parent has. Because interestingly, in the state of Florida, if you have your child for at least 20% of the overnights, which calculates out to about 73 overnights or more per year, then you start getting a discount from the baseline child support that's provided for in the statute. Okay. So to back that up, so we look at the first thing we do is look at the net monthly incomes of the party. And by net monthly incomes, I mean your income or salary less any deductions like for taxes, and that would be any federal or local taxes, union dues, federal insurance contributions, and your own, not your children's, but your own health insurance costs. So then once we get that number and we get the other party's number, we combine those together, and that's called the combined net monthly income of the parties. And then in Florida law, we have a chart that's provided for in the statute. So you look up the combined monthly income of the parties, and then you go over to the column that has however many number of children that the parties have together, and that's the baseline number, whatever that number is, for child support. And then what we do is we take each parent's percentage. So if the parties combined made $100,000 a year, it would be kind of easy because and each party made $50,000 of that. Then each party is going to pay 50% of that number. If it's 60-40 or however it's split, that is the number or the percentage that we use to multiply against the number to determine your child support obligation. After that, we then look at the cost of child care and health care. And basically the law says that if you require child care in order to maintain your employment, that it is a legitimate expense that can be added on to the baseline child support. And nowadays, of course, child care has become very costly, and with COVID, it's become even more costly because a lot of these places are having difficulty even finding employees to work for them. And when they do, they have to a lot of times pay sign-on bonuses and extra salaries to get them. So that cost, of course, is then passed on to the parents. So we have to look at daycare. And daycare can also include before and after school care programs as well. And then we look at the percentage of the timeshare, and we calculate that in. So again, if you had 73 overnights per year, that would be 20%. And then however many more overnights, you add that up and divide by 365, and that's, of course, the percentage that you're going to use. And based on those, then we determine the amount of child support that each person or parent is going to pay. We also include another cost is any health insurance that's for the children. Then that gets factored into as an element of child support. In some places, that there is no, cost where the plan, once the employee pays, it does cover the dependents. And other plans it doesn't. So it just depends on the plan. We usually get the records from HR to determine what those numbers would be as far as the health insurance. So even though it sounds like a very complex thing, I can tell you in legal land, we all have computer programs that'll do those calculations for us. So we no longer have to do that by hand. But because there is a lot of stuff that factors into a bottom line number of child support. A lot of people ask, well, does the court have any discretion? In other words, whatever the number turns out to be, if I don't like that number, do I have any right to change that number? Well, yes, to a point. If you go to court, the court, unfortunately, per the statute, only has a 5% deviation allowance. So for any reason, they can deviate by 5% one way or the other. If they want to deviate more than 5%, as attorneys, we have to come up with a reason why that would be allowable. And there could be many reasons why that's allowable. It could be that, for example, if the parents live far away from one another and there's a cost associated with transporting the child, maybe that would be a reason to deviate from the guidelines. It could be that the children have very special needs that require expenditures, and maybe one party is paying them and they want a deviation for that. So there could be many reasons why there is a deviation. Now, if you're settling a case as opposed to trying it before the court, Well, then you've got a little bit more leeway because you can put into the agreement, whatever the deviation is, you can put into the agreement what you feel the basis for the deviation is. So it gives you, in my opinion, a little bit more wiggle room than if you went to court to battle it out. But I can tell you, I mean, it's something that even with a marital settlement agreement, because people ask me this, well, if my spouse or the other baby parent agree that there's no child support due whatsoever, is that okay? Can we just put that in the agreement? Mm-hmm. And that is a little bit more tricky because there has to be a reason. Typically, as parents, we don't have the right to waive child support from the other parent. So, because it's technically the child's right or children's right to receive the support, even though the payment itself does go to that parent.
And if it seems like also, I want to add, it seems like there might be opportunity for intimidation and things like that in that situation too.
There could be. There very well could be.
Yeah.
So if you want to come up with an agreement where there's no child support obligation, well, then there has to be a really good reason. You know, for example, if both parents make about the equal amount of pay and they each have the child or children 50% of the time and they're each paying the expenses, 50-50, mm-hmm. that might be a basis to say that there's a zero support obligation one way or the other.
Right.
But even with 50-50 time sharing, what people don't understand, because we get this a lot, that if one party makes a lot more than the other party, because of the percentage of the combined monthly incomes, there can still be a child support obligation. Okay. So also understand that 50-50 time sharing doesn't always equate to zero child support, because people have that in their heads too.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's not based on that. Child support is based on the calculation, and the calculation stems from each party's net monthly income. So it's not stemming from solely the number of overnights.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We're talking with attorney Millie Athanason here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, longtime friend of the program and just an awesome attorney here in Tampa Bay. And we're talking specifically today about divorce situations, child support. How do you calculate that? Some of the misnomers out there, some of the questions that you find. If anything intrigues you, or if you have questions, or maybe a loved one that's in a situation, we'd love to talk to you. 813-750-0550. You can call or text that number. It's an off-air line, 813-750-0550. And of course, consumerqb.com is the website. You can submit a form at consumerqb.com. So, Millie, what else are you seeing in terms of misnomers? Because I think there's so much misinformation around this area.
Oh gosh, that there is. So as I was saying, the biggest misnomer, of course, is the one about, well, if we have 50-50 time sharing, does that mean that I don't pay child support? Another big one is that, well, if a family member is babysitting the child when I have the child, but the other parent uses daycare, do I still have to pay for the daycare? Mm-hmm. Well, yes and no. I mean, if that daycare is needed because that parent needs to work, and let's say that daycare is close to that parent's residence, but the other party's relative is somewhat further away, then it would be a reasonable expense, so that it would still be allowable and would be part of the child support calculation. So don't assume that just because you can get a family member that's always going to be, the case where there's no daycare expense. There could be factors that go into that. If you're blessed enough to have a relative that doesn't charge you anything for daycare, I do feel that is a blessing in many respects because, as I told you, the price of daycare has soared through the roof right now.
Right.
It could save both the parties quite a bit of money, but there could be many reasons why, a relative isn't going to work. And also, too, we can't assume that relatives are going to watch your children for free either.
Right. Yep. Yep, absolutely. It's a great situation if you get family help, if you get, grandma coming in, to help out in those types of situations, but you can't count on that. And it's not that's not going to be factored into the calculation sheet, would it?
Well, it could be. I mean, it could be factored into the calculation sheet depending on the cost of the daycare or of the relative. I mean, most oftentimes they don't charge, or if they do charge, it's a very nominal charge. But as I said, the majority of the time, it's next to nothing. But we can't assume that. We always have to ask.
Yeah.
Another thing that comes up in regards to, at least with time sharing a lot, is when people want to take the children out of the country. This is not so much a child support question, but it's something that comes up quite a bit because people, in Florida, we have many people from different places, and it's kind of a very transient community sometimes. So, it's not atypical for one parent to be from another state or another country. And is it okay to travel with your children, particularly during the COVID scenario? And the answer is yes, as long as you're planning to return with the child. The biggest fear that a lot of parents have when they're going through custody battles and such is, well, if my significant other or spouse takes the child to Romania or whatever, are we going to see that child, or are they going to stay over there?
Right.
And, typically what I put in many of my agreements is that if the parties are going to be okay with mutual out-of-country travel, that each parent provide proof of a round-trip plane ticket when they're going, so that we have. And then some of the others is that sometimes we put in there that you can only travel to countries that are within the confines of the Hague Convention. Under the terms of the Hague Convention, if a child is wrongfully in another country, that country's government will help return the child to the United States. If they're not part of the Hague Convention, then they don't have to do that. They haven't pledged to do that.
That's great information, Millie. We're coming into our break here. Millie Athanason, AthanasonLaw.com. And give us what's that cool phone number you have where people want to call you directly? It's
1-833-ASK-MILLIE, MILLY, or my office line number is 727-376-9100.
Awesome. 833-ASK-MILLIE. I love that, Millie. Good stuff. Thanks for bringing all that great information for the show here. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We got to run to a quick break here. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Brandon.
My pleasure. All right, coming up, we've got Rickcox. He's owner and a master plumber, Forthright Plumbing. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back with another expert contributor here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you check out consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. My wife, Lindsay, and I own the team. We've got about 10 folks on the team helping us buying, selling, or investing. We'd love to work with you and help you maximize the exposure on the sale of your real estate properties. 722 Pruitt Drive, Madeira Beach. This is a beautiful duplex income property that we just listed. Great opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. You've got about 1,500 square feet, 2-bedroom, 1 bath on one side. The Unit B has 1 bedroom, 1 bath as well. And it's a great place to bring your boat, access deep water access with a large dock right on the waterfront here in beautiful Tampa Bay. 722 Pruitt Drive, Madeira Beach. 95-foot lot. It's one of the largest lots in the area. Great opportunity to live, work, and play right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
God is great, beer is good.
Keep hitting the wrong button.
And people are crazy.
All right, we got Rickcox in the house, owner and a master plumber, Forthright Plumbing. Welcome in.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Glad to be on here.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a great topic, man. I remember when we spoke and we said, hey, what would you talk about? Relationships between inspectors, realtors, the plumbers, the folks coming in, because those inspections happened, plumbing repairs happen, different things come up, and try to save the deal. That's the idea.
Yeah, it's so important. You know, I would say it's great to have a network of not only plumbers, but electricians, HVAC companies, and general contractors on your side that you can trust. If you run into a deal where you've got problems, right? Let's say the inspection comes through and there's multiple items that need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
A good plumber is going to go in there, identify those issues, and then say, hey, let's arm our consumer. Let's arm both sides of the real estate transaction, the buyer and the seller, with the information necessary to make the best decision for them. And I would even say that a good plumber can help save a deal if there's a problem. Now, it's funny, I've dealt with a lot of real estate transactions, and I've noticed that sometimes there are things that the inspector will miss. And sometimes the inspector will look at something and say, hey, I'm not sure if this is okay.
Right.
Let's get another professional in here. And in terms of plumbing, a master plumber will be able to go in there, look at the situation and assess it and say, hey, this needs to be repaired. This is something that can wait, or this is not an issue at all.
Yeah, you see that happen a lot with the home inspection reports. When they come back, they will kind of a CYA type of thing. Hey, I noticed a little bit of this, I noticed a little bit of that, but you might want to have, like you mentioned, a certified or a licensed and bonded inspector or a plumber, electrician, etc. come in.
Yeah, and I would say if it's your first home, you may want to consider just hiring an electrician and a plumber and an HVAC company separate in addition to the 4-point inspector. And the reason is because those guys, when they're trained and they've been in the industry for years, they're going to see things that the average home inspector is going to miss. And it's no fault of the home inspector. It's just that these guys are specialists in their field.
That's a great
point. When I
point.
look at a plumbing system, I look at it differently than the way an inspector does, because I'm involved with plumbing every single day. You know, I know the ins and outs. I joke with my guys. I say I have X-ray vision, because I can go into a home and say, yeah, I think the stack is probably right there, just based on experience. And so I know a good electrician, a good HVAC company, a good roofer, and a good plumber, and definitely a great general contractor. Great people to have on your side.
Yeah, that turnkey solution reminds me of our show. You know, we try to do that for our folks that we're working with real estate wise, our radio, TV show audience out there. We want to be that super connector. So we greatly appreciate those who are listening, hanging out with us here on the program. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, the Consumer Quarterback Show page out there as well on Facebook and YouTube. Over 1,200 videos on YouTube. So we got to take a quick break here. More with Rickcox. He's the owner and a master plumber, Forthright Plumbing, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short break. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Over 1,200 videos on YouTube now. Brandon Rhymes Realty is a YouTube page. We'll be right back.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Johnny, let me know if you want to continue.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to remind you about a career fair event that we've got coming up. Tampa Bay's best career fair, Wednesday, October 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. Save that date. Spread the word. Help us spread the word. A lot of people are looking for jobs. A lot of employers are looking to fill positions and bring on more employees. Largo Event Center on Wednesday, October 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. right here in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's best career fair coming up right here in Tampa Bay. Brought to you by Massive Marketing Pros, Consumer Quarterback Show, and the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. All right, a couple of hot listings for this segment. We've got some properties here in Tampa Bay. This is a newer listing as well. Just hit the market, 4302 North Nebraska Avenue in Tampa. Great opportunity for a professional, maybe an attorney, a CPA, all types of businesses could relocate here at 4302 North Nebraska Avenue in Tampa. Got basically about 2,100 plus square feet, spacious office building, and it has that that charm of those older homes. They really kept some of the mystique and of that decor as well. So you got wood flooring throughout. Great opportunity, about 40 to 50,000 vehicles a day coming by, so you could relocate. Plus, the big thing is you got your own billboard. So there's a private billboard on the property. Your business would be promoted right there daily to 40, 50,000 vehicles passing by. 4302 North Nebraska Avenue. Price tag about $799. $750, I believe, is the price tag on that one. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, we got Rickcox in the house. He's a master plumber and owner of Forthright Plumbing. And so this is a great topic. Out of 9 years being on air, I don't think we've interviewed a plumber before. We haven't had, I'm serious, we haven't.
That's funny.
You think all the different areas and categories that we cover, but it's interesting. So this is a first for me in terms of on air because there's a lot of considerations. People think they'll go put money down on a new construction home and they'll just say, oh, I can just trust the builder.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The quality of new construction has really gone down in the last couple of years, and I wish I could say that I've never done a service call on a new home, but that's just not the case.
Yeah.
They unfortunately, construction is optimized for the market, and what that means is contractors are trying to make the best profit margin they can, and a lot of times they hire subcontractors such as plumbers, electricians, and HVAC companies that aren't necessarily geared towards the highest quality.
Yep.
They're geared towards speed and getting as many units done as possible.
And the low bid.
Yeah,
sometimes
it's
they're gonna take the low bid. Same thing with real estate. We see, for sale by owners or different types of properties, and they're like, oh well, what's your rate and what do you So you can get the flat fees, you can get the low cost,
right?
But you're not going to get the results. And you might be on the market for 6-8 months a year and not get sold.
And the other thing I would say is if you're a consumer and you're looking to buy a home, watch out for home flips. Flips that were done without permits, where maybe they added a bathroom or they moved the bathroom around. I have seen so much messed up plumbing where, everybody understands how to run a water line. It's pretty straightforward. But when you start messing with drainage and gas, that's where things can go wrong really, really quickly. And if you have someone that doesn't know what they're doing, running a drain line for a bathroom, the chances of them doing it correctly the first time are slim to none. And it's unfortunate. And so I've been in a lot of situations where I've had clients who have purchased brand new homes. It passed the inspection, but then we did a camera inspection, and lo and behold, they've got incorrect fittings underneath the slab. And now the only way to fix it is to cut the floor up, which means damaging their nice brand new floor. We've got to cut concrete. We've got a tunnel underneath, and a lot of those repairs are several $1,000s.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you the other thing to look for when you're buying a used home is watch out for cast iron drain lines specifically. I know Morgan & Morgan talks a lot about them on the radio. You've probably heard ads. Cast iron drain lines, they're starting to fail en masse in Florida, and so that's a big problem if you're buying a used home. And you want to watch out.
Is that similar to polybutylene?
Yeah. So in the 1990s, a manufacturer named Quest made something called polybutylene, and they ran it for about 5 or 6 years, and then a few years later, they started having all of these leaks.
Wow.
And so basically, that was a case of a manufacturer making a product that was defective, and it was installed in hundreds of thousands of homes across America.
Wow.
And so as a plumber, I still run into that stuff. So yeah, polybutylene piping, any galvanized steel piping, or for your drain piping, if you run into cast iron piping, you want to be aware of those, and definitely consider having a plumber come out to evaluate the condition of the pipes and see what it would cost to replace them. Maybe something you can use as a negotiation tactic to get a better deal on your real estate purchase.
Yeah, right on. That's a great point. We're talking with Rickcox here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's the owner and also is a master plumber, Forthright Plumbing, right here in Tampa Bay, and a great local company here. So these are great tips. These are really good tips, by the way. So polybutylene pipes, 1990s is because when I first saw that, I was like, wait, when was that, like really old stuff? Okay, so 1990s. And it reminds me also of the booms. Like, so whenever you have these booms and you have these different market trends, so Chinese drywall, aka defective drywall, that was a major issue back in the boom days as well.
Sure.
So you see those types of things, plumbing, the plumbing side, polybutylene, that's something to look for. And this is all, again, I like the point as well, is it's outside the scope of just a home inspector. He's going to make sure, hey, I turned on the knob, the water's coming out, things are flowing properly. He's not going to dig in and go necessarily that next layer deeper for the $300 to $400 that you're paying for that inspection.
Yeah, and it's for the cost of what you're going to pay to have a good plumber come out, or a good electrician or a good HVAC company come out and do an independent analysis of that property that you're buying. I know in most cases it's less than a couple $100, and it's very well worth it, especially if you're purchasing your first home and you've never dealt with the purchasing process before.
Right.
This could be your dream home. You've got your American dream white picket fence in your head, and you move in and you find out you've moved into a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so I hate whenever I see that for my clients, and I'd love to save as many people from having that terrible experience as possible.
That's right. Well, you're a consumer advocate at heart, and that's what we do on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great stuff. Rickcox, master plumber, Forthright Plumbing. What's the best website? Sure,
that's forthrightplumbing.com, FORTHRIGHT plumbing.com. And the best number to reach us is going to be 813-300-2225.
Awesome. Good stuff. Hey, those are some great tips there from Rickcox. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to flip to the other side of the home components, one of the major components of the home. We're going to talk about your AC. The AC guy of Tampa Bay is in studio, but we've actually got Jordan in studio. That's the daughter of Greg Bowman, who you normally hear on the program. Jordan Bowman in the house here, the AC guy of Tampa Bay, rounding out our consumer advocate-based program for today. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, Consumer Quarterback Show page out there as well. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're very close to getting monetized on YouTube, so we greatly appreciate it if you go to youtube.com/Brandon Rhymes Realty. And we'll be right back after this short break.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. We help our sellers profit more and sell faster by featuring them in ways other real estate companies don't. And we take great pride in that here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got some hot property listings here in Tampa Bay. How about 907 Floresta Street? This is a property that we've got out in East Hillsborough County, out in the Brandon area. This property is 3,100 plus square foot. It's an executive style home, beautiful property, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3-car garage, and it's in a gated community of La Colina. Impressive master suite, spacious bedroom. And if you've got young kids, check this out. You got a private basketball court in your backyard. Really cool opportunity. I'd love to have a private basketball court in my backyard, man. That was pretty cool. We also have a property here at 10222 Meadow Crossing. This is in New Tampa. This is a great opportunity up in that New Tampa area, close to a lot of the great shopping and fine dining as well. 3,500 plus square feet, 5 bedrooms, 4 bath, 3-car garage, large corner lot. You got a brand new roof, theater room and gym, smart home technology and thermostats, solar panels on the roof, security cameras as well. 10222 Meadow Crossing Drive in Tampa. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, every day we tell you something good here in our feel-good story of the day. Florida couple creates Door of Kindness to spread kindness in their community. Tell you something good.
Tell me something good.
Okay, so we've got a couple in Orlando that found a great way to spread joy and kindness. So they moved into their new apartment in August of 2021, and they wasted no time making a positive impact on their neighbors. They set up a small table with blank Post-it notes and pins outside their front door and left a note encouraging residents to write a supportive and positive message. Within hours, the notes began to appear on their front door, and days went by. The door became filled with notes of positivity. Jessica says the quote, "Door of Kindness," was inspired by pins she used while working as a waitress. On the pins includes, "Your past does not define you. You're valued. You're beautiful." And she knew she was making a difference by the feedback, the hugs, even tears that I've received. And I know these simple pins were affecting lives. Instead of walking out of the restaurant after signing their check, they would share their stories with me. And she said she got a great response from it. So when they moved to their new apartment, they put these out, and they got a great response from the community. They received over 40 messages from the neighbors. So sometimes it's that small little, act of kindness that we talked about, those small acts of kindness that help people in a lot of ways. All right, welcome back to the program. Jordan Bowman in studio. You are the office manager for your dad's business, who folks are listening to a lot. Normally they hear Greg on the show, AC guy of Tampa Bay. Welcome in.
Thanks for having me, Brandon.
Yeah, my pleasure. So that's awesome. I love the family atmosphere, the businesses that have the family working together, and I grew up in a family business, so pretty cool. Customer service is key in your business. Yeah.
It is very important, actually. I've been doing this for about 5 years with my dad, about 7 years total customer service. I had a break doing coffee shop work. But it's really important. One of the things that we've been doing recently is actually doing some more training with all of our service professionals in the office.
Cool.
Which is exciting. So people who call should notice a little bit of a difference of how we interact with people on the phone, I would hope.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, every time we've worked with your company and had, the service calls, and it's just a pleasure to serve, you can tell.
Yeah, it is. We really enjoy our job. It's really sweet working with all the ladies in the office because we'll get off the phone sometimes, and it's just sweet because I know everybody in the office. We generally do care, and we're trying to implement strategies so that our customers know that.
Yeah.
Because, it could be stressful when your AC breaks down. We joke a lot, but it's really true. No one necessarily has like a piggy bank just for their AC system, for a rainy day. Yeah. No one does that. So it's stressful when it breaks down. So it's like we want people to feel like we've got their back.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that mentality, that mindset of, helping customers, understanding that it's a stressful situation when the AC does go down, go south. And kind of reminds me, too, one of my first jobs out of school, I worked at the Ritz-Carlton, the 5-star, 5 diamond hotel on Naples Beach. and I was at the spa. I worked as a fitness trainer, like an assistant manager there. One of my very first jobs out of college. But if you ever visited a luxury hotel like that, I mean, it just really ingrained in my mind. It's our pleasure to serve you. The customer service, and even the small things, like instead of someone comes to you and says, "Hey, where's the bathroom? Where's the men's restroom?" You take that time to walk the customer to the restroom. You use that time to build rapport, and you ask them where they're from, how's their day, and so that next level of thinking is what I see happening with the AC guy of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, exactly. Like I noticed a difference too for myself is if you take the extra time for somebody, even though everybody has a million tasks, sitting pending to do, and we get a phone call, it actually makes your day so much better because you get to connect with somebody. So like you were saying, if you walk someone to the bathroom, if you're connecting with them,
yes,
like it actually makes you feel better too. And that's something I've noticed. Like when I take those extra moments with the customer, be like, "Hey, is there anything else I can help you with?" I'd be happy to do that for you, because genuinely I am, and it improves my mood. I get off the phone and I'm like, "That was great."
yeah, absolutely. Because especially in this texting and tweeting world that we live in, with technology overwhelming us, and all the different sides of technology and these different RSS feeds coming at us, it's nice to break it down to that human element every now and then.
Yeah, and everybody is like, that's a big thing I remind myself. It's like, this is another person, this is a human I'm talking to, which is so hard when you do phone service, is because I think sometimes customers forget that who's answering the phone is a human, but we also forget that we're talking to a human on the other side. So it's like being like, so like, how's your day, or like connecting on those elements helps, I think, both people feel better, especially when it's a stressful thing, like your air's out and you're hot and you're sweating, and we're just trying to do the best we can to get you service. So
yeah. And you got such a great team over there too. It was kind of interesting too. I sold a property for an awesome, very nice lady in South Tampa, and then come to find out one of your head service techs, it was his mother. And it's such a great guy.
That's cool.
Does a great team. What a small world it is too. It just reminds you how small Tampa Bay especially can be. But so it's awesome team you've got.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to the air conditioning, what are some of the common things that you're finding people are calling in? That's like, hey, they don't understand this or they don't understand that. What are some of the common misnomers in your industry?
I think some of the most common things that I find people misunderstand is their warranties.
Yep.
So I think if there's one piece of advice I could give a homeowner, it's pay attention to your warranty on your system, and pay attention to what it actually like what it includes, because no warranty in history of ever covers everything. So just know what it does and doesn't cover. And I actually am the one who processes all warranties. So I suggest people always buy labor warranty. That's a big misconception. Some people don't think you'll need it, because there's some businesses where you might not need labor warranty, but in the HVAC industry, from my experience, you should get labor warranty. If you don't get it, 3 to 6 years down the road is what I notice most systems, you're starting to have problems, which is common. You're running your system all the time. It's insane.
Right.
The labor can really rack up, and that stresses homeowners out. So I'm like, if I don't have a home right now, but when I buy a home one day, I'm buying labor warranty.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Your dad had mentioned too on the program one time, it's like, most people, they think about their air conditioning unit when it breaks down or when they need it, right? But he said it's kind of like driving a vehicle for like close to 300,000 miles and not changing the oil, not changing the tires, so not getting the service. But yeah, when you think about it in those terms, our air conditionings, especially here in South Florida, the systems are running 24/7 for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when something does happen, it's like, okay, well, I got to put some money out.
Yeah, which stresses people out, which is super valid, very understandable. But if you have those warranties, or if you know what they include, you won't be surprised. I think that's the hard thing, is people get surprised. It's like, just pay attention to them, because they're usually through the manufacturers. Currently our company doesn't have the means to do an in-house warranty. We want to get there eventually. My dad has talked to me about it personally, but
nice.
Most warranties are through manufacturers, so I would suggest homeowners check out what their warranty actually covers.
Yeah, that's a challenge. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Jordan Bowman here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. She's the office manager at the AC Guy of Tampa Bay. ACGuyofTampa.com, I believe, is the website, right? ACGuyofTampa.com. And you also have this great program. Like, we signed up for it. It's to me, it's like a no-brainer if you are a homeowner, and maybe even if you're renting on a long-term lease. Why not long-term lease? That is, why not sign up for? I forgot what it's called. Your Platinum plan,
VIP
or
program.
your VIP program. Yeah. So talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah. So our VIP program, I would say it's if you're a homeowner, I would say yes, it's like a no-brainer, get it.
Yeah.
Some people don't think necessarily that way, and that's okay, that's valid. But along with warranties that I had mentioned earlier, the VIP program is you get 2 maintenances a year, 20% off parts and repairs, and a reduced diagnostic fee whenever you call. And the thing that's great about that, along with the warranty I mentioned earlier, is almost all warranties you have to have annual service to keep it valid.
Oh, okay.
This you get biannual service. You get it 2 times a year and no additional cost. You're just paying that monthly fee. Right now it's $15 a month per system, which is really not bad. It's like what Spotify costs, I think, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Spotify and like 1 Starbucks drink. Reduced diagnostic fee is a big deal because regardless of when you call our company, whether that's a holiday, 11 o'clock at night, I think we actually only run till about 10 o'clock, but regardless of when you call, your diagnostic fee is reduced, which is a pretty good rate. It's normally I think it could be anywhere from $109 to $149 after hours, and it's only $59 for our customers, which is a pretty great deal. And then 20% off parts and repairs.
And you get preferential treatment. You get moved to the front of the line. Like, this is our VIP guy. We're going to take care of him.
Yeah, we say we'll get you in within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So if we have to move other clients, we've had to do that before. We're like, hey, we're so sorry. We had someone without air. We have to fit them in. So.
Yeah. That's great. Yep, absolutely. So taking care of the system. Now, in every industry also, I always kind of say this, like there's good, better, and best, right? In every industry. And in the contracting business, air conditioning contractors, there's some unscrupulous situations that happen. People maybe saying, you got to replace this system. You shouldn't, and maybe it had a little bit of legs on it. Maybe you could have changed out a part in there. Like, what are some of the things that you see that some of the competitors have done? We talk about every now and then, how things that consumers can be aware of just to look out for.
We had actually a client maybe a couple of months ago say that she had another competitor come out and advise her to replace the full system. And we actually had our guy Daniel go out. Everyone loves Daniel. He's amazing. And he's our field operations manager. Great guy.
Yep.
He went out and he heard a funny noise. So he's like, do you mind if I just check it out? Before we go with a system replacement estimate, let's just take a look at it. He looked at it and I think it was actually relatively simple. It might have been a compressor or something, which that's still a feed or replace, but it's way different than a full system.
Exactly.
So I would say when getting estimates, definitely get a second opinion, because sometimes depending on who you have out there, they might just be going for kind of like car sales. Sometimes they're like, let's see if we could go for the bigger thing versus the smaller. And you just have to be wise. You have to think about what you really want, but also maybe fact check it a little bit, get a couple options.
Right.
I would say options are a big thing. Always stick with a bunch of options. That way you can compare them. And our company, if you get an estimate from another company, we'll see if we can match it.
Yeah.
And we'll look at it and we'll see if we can compare and match it. And that's a great thing about getting options, is seeing if people can match it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then, like we were mentioning too, with what Ricky was saying, is the lowest cost, the lowest option or quote is not necessarily best, because then you end up having problems later.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm sure you've seen some examples of that over the years.
Oh yeah. Like if you just decide not to get the warranty, for example, like I mentioned earlier, that saves you a couple $100 maybe off the bat, but you could be spending thousands of dollars in the long run, is what I've seen clients have happen. So I always suggest, just go a little bit extra up front, and then you might be saving yourself money in the long haul. So
yeah, absolutely. All right. Hey, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Those are some good tips.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sharing. Absolutely. All right. Check them out online, the ACGuyofTampa.com, ACGuyofTampa.com. And save the date as well. Just want to remind you one more time, Wednesday, October 20th, we got a career fair going on, Tampa Bay's best career fair right here in Tampa Bay. Wednesday, October 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. And right in the middle of Pinellas County, Largo. What a central beautiful, great central location, Largo Event Center in Tampa Bay. We're going to have a lot of our expert contributors, a lot of our business owners. I think Captain Matt Bruce is going to show up and hang out. Massive Marketing Pros is the sponsor, as well as the Consumer Quarterback Show, and network with over 30 businesses that are looking to hire as soon as possible. Spread the word. We greatly appreciate it if you do. Wednesday, October 20th, Career Fair coming up, sponsored by the Consumer Quarterback Show. And as we always say, we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. Lots of ways you can donate time, donate food, donate blood even, and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.